they say, what is the difference between ignorance and apathy? Because I don't know, I don't care.
How do you remember these one-liners?
Okay, so this is what he says about Halachos. We hold by Ois Aleph, Apiatei V'Chaim Nitzchim, Likutei Tanino, Siman Ayin Beis, Ein Sham Etev Kol HaTorah Kula Mirosh Avad Sof. And now Ibn Nosson is doing a little synopsis of the term. V'Aklal, and the principle is, Sha'avdei Re'iyah Levad Shorim Pnei HaTzadik, the very sight alone that you see the face of the tzaddik. By the way, nobody told you about the Lava we had.
Yeah.
No, they
Okay, beseder. So what we're saying is that maybe you should watch it. It's on YouTube. About going to Uman, about the meaning of seeing the tzaddik and be seen by the tzaddik. The nefesh. The nefesh, the chayas nefesh, the nefesh chayas that exists in the body of a person, by every single person,
it's just
rests and resides on the kvarim of tzaddikim all year long. By a regular person, it comes down on the outside. And throughout the year, there is what is called kusta de chiyusa, or kisa de chiyusa, which is a residue of life that remains in the bones. That's now this remains. Zerkot says this remains by every single person, by the kever, all year long, and that's the thing that wakes up with Kriyas HaMesim. By a tzaddik, the nefesh chayas, the nefesh chayah, that nefesh that is living in the body right now, remains on the kever, like sitting on the kever, kaviyachol, resides upon the kever all year long, except for that, except for Shabbos and Yom Tovim, where it goes up, and his nefesh, that's the lower, because you have nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida. All those are higher. The nefesh is the lowest one. That's the one in the body. So by tzaddikim, the nefesh is on the kever all the time. It sees the nefesh of the tzaddik sees everyone. The tzaddik hears everyone. Because being it's not a gashmisdik thing. It's a ruchnik thing. It's no problem for a tzaddik to hear one person, 100 people, 1,000 people, 100,000 people, or 1,000,000 people. It doesn't matter. Because while the nefesh is in the body, it is being constricted by the body, by the nervous system. It sort of slows it down. But once it leaves the constraints of the body, it is cognizant that it can receive infinite amount of information from all sides, no problem. There's an inyan of re'iyas tzaddik, that the inyan of keeping what you call a straight line with the tzion, of seeing the tzion, because the spashness of the neshama of the tzaddik is all over the world.
what's his pashtus?
Spreading. The spread of the neshama level of the tzaddik is all over the world. I mean, you can go to the koisel, you can speak to Rabbeinu like you can speak to me. The Rebbe Yitzchak used to say, when you go to the koisel, ask the Rebbe, to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring it to Uman. The Rabbeinu never leaves the koisel. That's what Rebbe Yitzchak said. But the nefesh, which is the nefesh chaya, is on the tzin itself throughout the year. Shabbos Yom Tovim is all the kusta chayusa of the tzaddik that remains on the kever. The kusta chayusa of the tzaddik is greater than the neshama of somebody else, by comparison. But nevertheless, that's the way. Re'iyas Pnei HaTzadik is accomplished today, Baruch Hashem, you go to Uman, you see the Tzion, the Rebbe sees you. Now, if you can't get to the Tzion, it's also okay. Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah, if you can't get the Tzion because everybody's blasting the Tzion, it's okay. You stand where you can, and that's fine. There's nobody there. You have to go to the Tzion itself. But as far as you can get, as close as you can get, that's fine. That's just seeing the face of the tzaddik. What happens is that it sparkles the mind. Each one receives. Actually, what happens is that there is a flowering, a blooming of each and every person's innate stature, of what he can reach. But when the tzaddik sees the person, it wakes his innate potential and brings it to fruition. The ministers of thousands, the ministers of hundreds, the ministers of 50s, the minister of tens. This is, when this is what Yisro told Moshe Rabbeinu, you will gaze, you will see, and when you look at them, you will illuminate in each and every one his proper potential. Anybody who is
what we're reading here talking about going to the Tzion on Rosh Hashanah? This is it?
I'm repeating what I said on so this evening. The Tzaddik is accomplished today by going to the Tzion, not only Rosh Hashanah, anytime. Rosh Hashanah is a different thing altogether. Rosh Hashanah, we're not on Rosh Hashanah we're going for ourselves, but Rosh Hashanah we're going for Rabbeinu. It's a long story. Should have been there. Sorry about that. Because the greatness and the authority and the stature of every person, it has to do with the way that the mind shines up. Like they say, sometimes in the heat of battle, when a unit is lost or it's behind enemy lines, somebody is a shlok, has been a troublemaker, has been a no goodnik for the entire time. Suddenly he gets up and he gets he takes command. The commander gets killed. He gets up. And suddenly, he shines. What happened? Because his moichin was, the mind, illuminated in his mind. His own gedula was illuminated. Before it was still there. It was there, but it wasn't illuminated. It was dormant. And the situation shined his gedula in his mind, and bam! Where does this come before? He didn't become a different person, but the person that he always could have been is suddenly awakened. This is the Indian that the gedula amachus labit, not the samoichin. This has to do with the awakening, the enlightenment of the moichin. A king that is imprisoned in straps. It says in the Zohar, we read the moicha with the straps of the brain, the flow of the brain. In other words, the malchus of a person is entrapped with the way he sees himself, with the constrictions of his own mind. The minute his mind lets him free, his gdula free, he assumes his malchus, he assumes his stature, he assumes his authority. That's the one thing, we all want the Kodesh Baruch Hu to give us more shefa. More shefa and more shefa. Well, in truth, what we need to ask the Kodesh Baruch Hu is to give him more kalim, and more kalim, and more kalim. To undo the straps to rearrange the straps of our mind.
It's kind of scary because when you ask for more kalim, that means you have to really go through something to change as a person.
Yes, you do.
You're asking for trouble.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We all want to go into Gan Eden in a Cadillac, I know that. But nevertheless, or a Bentley, or whatever, as the case might be. But, yeah.
I don't want to go in a Cadillac. Cadillac's nothing.
All right.
What's a Cadillac?
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
but if you need tzedakah, you drive a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Fix it.
Come on, this is
In England, people look at Cadillacs and go, "You guys actually like these cars?"
Update. It just needs an update.
It's still a nice car.
What, the Cadillac?
Yeah. It's not, but it's a nice car.
You mean it looks like?
No, it's nice. It's nice. I owned one. It's nice. It's nice.
It's
Believe
nice
me.
because you owned it.
No, it's nice because amongst the car that I owned, it's nice. It's a nice ride.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice ride. Anyhow, be that as it may, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. So yes, you do have to go through the rigmarole in order to attain your gedula. Yes. And also, by the way, taking that depends a lot on your attitude towards that. If you come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and you thank Him while you're going through what you're going through, you thank Him for that, for going through what you're going through. It's a whole different kind of what feels like incredibly a torturous experience becomes an incredibly invigorating one, a very incredibly empowering one. It can flip over totally. That's the main thing. Once you go through, you ask Kodesh Baruch Hu is good for everything. In other words, when a person is going through a situation, through trials and tribulations, first of all, thank the Kodesh Baruch Hu for it.
I don't mean it.
The minute doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But basically, when you say it, you start. There is a point of amunah, and basically, what you're saying is this: I don't like what's going on with me. I don't like the way it feels. When you're thanking for it, you get an inkling that it's right both ways, though I don't know what is going on. I believe it's a good thing, but I don't like the way it feels while it's going on. It's a whole different kind of ball game that I can't believe this is happening to me. Why is Hashem is doing this to me? I can't believe this. It's a very different thing.
I'm telling you, we need to pay somebody to edit all of these videos and just put those little scenes in. That was like the...
Yeah, outtakes, the bloopers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a very, very different state of mind if you feel cursed while it's going on, then to understanding, I understand what's going on, but it's really difficult for me. Okay? It's not easy for me. Then you can daven Kodesh Baruch Hu, make it easier for me. It's a separate davening. I know it's good for me. But it's really hard for me, and I should be. And first of all, thank you that that it's going on. And secondly, even more than that, make it easy for me. Tov Hashem l'kol. Hashem is good for everything. It's a very different state of mind when you thank Hashem for it, and you realize that time will pass. But Hashem, you'll have your new stature, your new madriga. This is Melech Asur Bereatim. Ask, like you ask somebody to adjust your film because they're too big or too small. Same thing as you ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to adjust your film, you adjust the straps of your brain. It's not somebody and the shining, the shimmering, the glow of the moichin is the essence, is the same principle of building Beis Hamikdash. Because they said, Kol mi sheyesh bo das, anybody that has das, ki'ilu nivno Beis Hamikdash b'yamav. Because Chazal said, Kel deot Hashem, Hashem mikdash Hashem. Chazal says that goes a gzera shava, that in one says it says Hashem, and then it says Deus, and then it says Hashem. In other places it says Hashem, it says mikdash Hashem. So you see that the das is between Hashem and Hashem, and the mikdash is between Hashem and Hashem. So Chazal said, anybody that has das, it's as if Beis Hamikdash was constructed during his time. Why? Because what's Beis Hamikdash? Beis Hamikdash is a receiver, an antenna, that draws down the Shekhinah of Kodesh Baruch Hu into this world. What is the das? What is the das? V'yadat et Hashem. Did you know Hashem? What is it? That's the only das there is. Everything else is silly. What the das amiti is that you know Hashem. Your das becomes a residence for Kodesh Baruch Hu, a residence for the Shekhinah. Every neshama is a reservoir, is a residence for Kodesh Baruch Hu in this world. That's why we have to give birth to children, because each and every one of us represents a specific and a unique perception of Nasoga and Kodesh Baruch Hu. And with this, Kodesh Baruch Hu's total ruchnius, when you have das, it's like now Kodesh Baruch Hu is in a keli kiviyachol, in the keli of your das. So the building of the das, the construction where the das is developed, when you're gaining more das, this is akin, it's the same principle as building Beis Hamikdash. You are building a residence for Kodesh Baruch Hu. The glowing of the Moichin, that's the building of Beis Hamikdash, Shua Das. Beis Hamikdash is a das. As Chazal says, you saw a person that is quick in his malacha. I don't know what's the continuation of the pasuk. I don't. Then each and every one gets greatness and authority according to the rig of his moyach. The manigaemes is the one that shines to each one by looking at him. He shines his own real madrega. And you will gaze and you will see. With your gazing, with your seeing, you will awaken their innate potential. But sometimes, and you put upon them ministers of thousands, ministers of hundreds. By the look that Moshe Rabbeinu looks at everyone, he wakes their innate potential, and the one that is capable of being Sarah Elf, he becomes Sarah Elf. Is stepping into his greatness, stepping into his potential. And what does it mean that steps into potential? Each and every person knows how to be mechadesh chidush to according to his madrega. What? Because the sight that Moshe Rabbeinu looks at everyone, he gives him a ruach elokim. We think that looking. Science knows that looking is one direction, that the light hits an object, and it enters my eyes, and the sensors in my mind, the sensors in my eyes bring the pulses into my brain, and my brain constructs the picture that I see. Right? That's what science says.
Sort of.
Yeah, that's what science says. Now, Rabbeinu explains, and the Zohar says that actually it is a bidirectional process. There is the koyach, says the koyach of the sight comes out of the eyes, it hits the subject, and it comes back to the eyes. The power of sight is like the same thing as power of Ein Hara or whatever it is. We don't realize because we don't have the kalim, the sensors to measure energy on that level of the koyach hariyah, the power of sight. But in a few places, Rabbeinu says that there was a person that came to him once he came to a tish, I don't remember. Rabbeinu said, you sit by me, and he says, with every look that I will look at you, I will give you goodness. I will give you good. I'll do teva with you. But Moshe Rabbeinu, when he looks at every person, he infuses that person with Ruach Elokim. What it does is it wakens up It wakens up the innate potential. The same thing as you said that the kaviyachol and a soldier in battle, commander gets shot. What does he get? He gets a ruach Elokim. It says that when Shaul HaMelech became a melech and they were attacked, right? It says v'ruach lavsha v'ruach Elokim and lavsha Shaul, and Shaul, got cloaked with the ruach Elokim, and he went and he won the war. This ruach Elokim that comes in the person in a time of challenge, that's the ruach Elokim that the person gets when the tzaddik looks at him. Because when somebody guards his eyes become something else. We are used that eyes see, and the ears hear, and the mouth speaks. And the throat is the thing that gives the sound. But when you get to a higher level of spirituality, those differences starts to mish. That's why, when Am Yisrael were elevated during Matan Torah, suddenly we talked about them seeing the voices. In other words, the regular hardwire of the Gashmistic level doesn't play anymore. Moshe Rabbeinu's mind is already hardwired that Dvar Hashem goes directly into his hearing senses. Doesn't have to go through his eyes, through the dream center, the Madama, and then he sees what Hashem says in the language of symbols, and it's up to him to interpret it like all the other Nevi'im. Moshe Rabbeinu hears Dvar Hashem. His hearing is already on the level of Nevuah that he hears Dvar Hashem Yashar. In fact, there's a certain places in Sefer Dvarim where Moshe Rabbeinu slips into first, in first person. All the time he speaks about HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the third person. Certain points in Sefer Dvarim, Moshe Rabbeinu slips into first person, then he comes back to the third person. This is when Dvar Hashem goes into Moshe's throat, into Merkaz HaDibur. In other words, that's the lowest one of all the senses. And Hashem is talking out of Moshe's throat. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, that I've taken you out of Be'eretz Mitzrayim. Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, Anochi, I am Hashem Elokecha. Because he elevated himself to the point that the Gashmias, what by us, the eyes see, the ears hear, turns into something totally different. Ad kedei kach that it says, "Anei Hashem hema meshetetot ba'aretz." The eyes of Hashem are roaming the land. Says the Medrash, "Ela tzadikim." These are the tzadikim. Wherever the tzadikim look, this is what the Hashgochas Hashem is. Because there's a principle of Aseret Tzolcha Kirtzoinoi, do your will onto the will of Hashem, K'dei sheyaseh Ritzoinoi Kirtzoincha, meaning you should make His will as yours. Because when you subjugate your own Ratzon to the Ratzon of Hashem, after a while, all you want is what Hashem wants, so whatever you want is what Hashem wants. You become one. So when you want something to happen, this was that. That's what he says. Tzaddik goes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim. The tzaddik decrees, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mekayim. Why? What's the story? Because his Ratzon is Ratzon Hashem. When you are mevatel your Ratzon to Ratzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu all the time, whatever you want, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, because it becomes one thing, while being separate. You subjugate your Ratzon to Ratzon Hashem as a separate being. So your Ratzon separate being is the Ratzon Hashem. It works both ways. So Tata Chazeh, the eyes of Moshe, the eyes of the Tzaddik is a totally different thing. Suddenly the eyes, instead of seeing physical things, they're seeing spiritual things. The act of the eyes is a spiritual act. Which is the overriding money. That he is the general sage, the general spirit. Why? For he is the man who contains the Ruach Elokim. Moshe Rabbeinu asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give a manik to Klal Yisrael. He says, give him ish, asher b'Ruach Elokim, asher Ruach Elokim bo, that has the Spirit of God in it. What is it? Shemayir b'chol echad Ruach Elokim, that shines in each and every person, the Ruach Elokim that is commensurate with this person's potential. That's the glowing of the Moichin. That's the shining up of the Moichin. And that's what he says, and I will fill him with the spirit of Elokim. He says, here, take Betzalel, there's going to build a Mishkan, and I will fill him with the spirit of Hashem, with the Chochma Tvuna V'das. And B'chol Malocha should be able to build the Beis HaMikdash. And this is how you wake it up. It should be a Ruach Elokim Merachefes. This brings about the ability to Mechadish B'Torah, to bring you Torah. Mind you, people mistake, this is going for a little aside, people mistake to say that Judaism is against art. Because it says, Lo taseh kol pezl kol tmuna, don't make a statue, don't make a picture. The point is that people don't realize that art is an incredibly strong antenna. Art is a conduit to divine spirituality. That's what it is. This is when an artist gets inspired. He's connected to a spiritual source which is beyond the physicality of this world. The problem with art is that it's totally immoral, in the sense that there's no morality in art. If you can see by the goyim, the artists, they're like potter from any morality. What are you, Picasso? No problem. You can be a dog. You are a dog. Fine, no problem. You're talking about a musician, a famous musician who is an artist. Everything is allowed. You can get away with anything. Anything. Just every schmutz there is. You can get away with murder within a very, very wide margin. Okay, maybe it stops by murder, but very, very close to that. Everything's, if you're an artist, it's okay. It's like why are you behaving totally immorally, beyond the boundaries of society? I'm talking about Fromm, I'm talking about Fry, I'm talking about Deutsch. I'm an artist. An artist? That's okay, you can do anything. You can do anything. Anybody who knows a little bit about the Goy society knows that's the emes. The reason why art is such a religion by the Goyim, because it allows them to connect to spirituality, to divine spirituality, without the need for morals. No restrictions. If you're a good artist and you're a dog, that's okay. If you're a good person but you can't produce art, you're worth nothing. It's gone. But art in itself, paintings and sculptures, are such potent entrappers of divine energy that they need to be used for kedusha to the point that people cannot look at them. In Kodesh HaKodeshim, everything in the Mishkan, Beis HaMikdash, was done with the most sublime art and with this brought about the Shekhinah. There's a measure that says, why did Kodesh Baruch Hu reside as Shekhinah in Kodesh HaKodeshim? It says, because the walls of Kodesh HaKodeshim had a fresco of Maaseh Bereshis. It says there were beautiful frescoes in Kodesh HaKodeshim inside that drew down the spirituality of the Shekhinah in this world. On the Oren Kodesh, there were sculptures of the Keruvim. In fact, they were animated. When Israel were doing what Kodesh wanted, they faced each other. When Am Yisrael was not doing what Kodesh wanted, they were facing away from each other. They were bringing about an influx of Elokos to the point that if people were allowed to see them, what people would do would people would start serving them. That's the source of idolatry. Because art can be such an efficient conduit to divine energy that people start worshiping idols or whatever it is. That's what it's from. When Michelangelo made the Pietà of the Mother of Yoshka holding him on her knees, whatever it is, they put it in the church, the next day everybody was bound to it. They're bound down to it. That's what art does. You feel the energy so much, so you start saying that's Elorech Israel. So when Bezalel had to construct the Mishkan, it wasn't a free-for-all. Each single thing in the Mishkan had to be constructed in the exact way to bring about the different limbs of the Shekhinah Kaviyachol. Each one had to be an antenna, a receiver for a different kind of Ruchnis Gekoyach for the entire Mishkan, and then Moshe Rabbeinu had to be the one who puts it all together. But that money that has the ruach has to be incredibly kodesh and sanctified and separated in Kedushas Habris. And also to draw upon each and every Jew also the Kedushas Habris and Precious and staying away from these inyonim. When a Yid is zeicher to Kedushas Habris, a Yid is zeicher to Busha, like the Yidden felt when they were by Matan Torah, when the Torah was given on Har Sinai. Because the Rebbe explains even to do a mitzvah, a person has to be embarrassed, let alone do a Avera. You do a mitzvah, you just suddenly, it's like the entire England is coming together. Somebody's supposed to give the queen the crown. So suddenly you say, something, I'm going to take the crown. I'm going to give it to her. What the heck are you? That's just Basar Vadam. You want to put on Teffilin. Teffilin is the castle of the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Yeah, I know I have a mitzvah, but still, who am I? It's not a... mitzvah, and that busha, that embarrassment that you feel, that shame that you feel, that's the essence of tshuva. Because Rabbeinu says in the Torah that the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu is in the limb of every single Jew. It's not apathy, it's not laziness, it's not depression. It's the opposite. It's the true humility that exists, of Moshe Rabbeinu exists in every limb of every Jew. But it's dormant. This is Pchinas Misa. When a Yid feels that busha, this is when he starts to live. Feeling that busha of where am I? What have I done with myself? What have I done with my life? this is what the Rebbe says in this particular Torah is a B'chinas Chaim. V'abusha B'chinas Tshuva, v'aldei Tshuva Nichem L'chaim. We said already a few times that through the process of Tshuva is beginning again. We said that what is life? Life is, a forever beginning again. Tshuva brings you to start again, right? I did wrong, now I'm going to do right. So the process of Tshuva is a process of attaining life. This is eternal life. Hainu shenichya v'kam b'tchia, what is resurrecting, basically coming from the dead. Ha'nova v'ashifla shemosh Rabbeinu alav hasholom shemelu b'shetzel kol echad b'Yisrael b'chol ever ve'ever. That what happens is that the innate humility which comes from a total recognition of Hashem in the world, and where am I? Vis-a-vis that, this is the ultimate awareness that there is. This is the ultimate das that there is. You realize the greatness of Hashem. It's not a busha necessarily just of what have I done. It's also it's a busha that you stand in front of greatness. The total greatness of Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's a different kind of busha altogether. It's not the busha that you did something wrong. I mean, it's just a shame of being. Whoa! It's like when you're standing like keviyachol in front of a great work of art. Yet people feel that totally diminished. Feel like nothing. Keviyachol, how much more so when you stand in front of Kadosh Baruch Hu? This is actually going to be the essence of Tchias HaMesim L'Asad Lamed in the world to come. The thing that actually wakes up in Tchias HaMesim, the resurrection, is the shiflus and that loneliness that you have actually managed to feel and to discover and to uncover and to enliven and to resuscitate during your lifetime. Shem Kol Shashu Olam Haba. That's the pleasure of Olam Haba. P'chinas Oidik Shabbos, the pleasure of Shabbos. P'chinas To'ameh Chayim Zachu. Anybody who tastes it has merited life. P'chinas Nachal Bli Meitzarim. This is inheritance that has no boundaries. Ki Ta'anug Olam Haba, because the pleasure of Olam Haba Bilti Gvul. It has no boundary. That's why that's the reason why you cannot possibly fathom and differentiate it and define it while in body. Like the body is in gvul, the body is in boundaries. Only when you are zoicha to madrega, even in this world, that you are total ayin. You're zoicha to be a totally ayin, which means you have awakened this anov of Moshe Rabbeinu inside you. All of it in totality, you stripped all the shtuyot of Gashmis from Shezocher Anova Mitis Shel Moshe Rabbeinu. When you are zocher to true Anova Moshe Rabbeinu, Shezeh P'chis Tchias HaMesim. This is the aspect, this is the principle of Tchias HaMesim. Ki hashiflus v'anova shel Moshe Rabbeinu mulubash etzel kol echad Yisrael b'chol eva ve'eva. Because the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu that is melubash by every one of Israel in every single limb. But by me, this anova is brain dead. I don't feel it at all. This is P'chinas Misa, ki eno margisha anova melubash etzlo, because the person doesn't feel the anova that is melubash by him, that is intrinsic in him. אבל די הסתכלוס פני הצדיק, but by seeing פני הצדיק, when you're זויכה to see פני הצדיק, שעדי זה מצנוס את סמויכוי, this is the thing that makes the mind shine, זויכה לקבל גדולה בחינת מלכות. A person merits to get the greatness which is בחינת מלכות. על די זה זוכה לחדש בתורה כרוע אלוהי. Then a person is זויכה to be לחדש in the Torah the way that is befitting him. לפעמים הוא לגוס, according to his madrega. And when you're zoicha this, when the Torah goes through you, and you're zoicha to make new Torah, which is new life, because the Torah is chai, there's a noifel of yiro. Then the person feels, has a tremendous perception and feeling of awe. He feels a yira and embarrassment. You know, maybe embarrassment is not really the right word for it.
Shame.
It's not, no, shame is maybe embarrassment is more than shame. Shyness, I think, probably is more. You know, a certain shyness that befalls, you know, when you stand in front of greatness. Shyness is a better way to define it. Because when you're saying shame, and when you're saying embarrassment, this is a result of recognizing that you have done something wrong. Shyness is an embarrassment that you perceive and you feel when you realize who you are. It's a perception of yourself, a perception of who you are. It's a different kind of thing altogether. That's the shyness, that shyness is tshuva, that's the essence of life. Hashivu v'chiyun. Cheskel says Hashivu, you do tshuva, v'chiyun, you will live. And by this resuscitates and rejuvenates by him, actually, you know, incarnates and brings to life the shiflus v'anova shel Moshe Rabbeinu, that humility and lowliness of that Moshe Rabbeinu possessed, that was by you. Until now, it was dead by you. It was brain dead by you. It was in a coma by you. Now, it wakes up in a mechin of Tchias HaMeisim. That's what it says, awaken and sing, the dwellers of the earth. Ancient calls the hate up to here. We continue tomorrow. Please stop them.